Okay, we're back. Still dealing with the, the degenerates. So, you would want to believe that the vulnerable aren't being harmed, because that's unlawful. It's anti-government. So protected classes of people, women, widows, elders, those who can't speak for themselves or defend themselves, like our sons and daughters. So the government, there's only one government. There to protect vulnerable people, which is what we're looking at here. This is the government. This is the law. You don't add, you don't subtract. This is it right here. Because everything outside of this is anti-government. He knows they're monsters. He knows they're humans. He knows they're beasts. Which is why he writes everything down for them. So you don't afflict widows and orphans. Learn to do good, seek justice, reprove the ruthless, defend the orphan, plead for the widow. He who oppresses the poor to make more money for themselves, or who gives to the rich, will only come to poverty. The righteous are concerned for the rights of the poor. The wicked, well, they could care less, and this is exactly why we record everything. Landowners were likewise required to allow the poor to, well, eat from their, whatever they had. You freely give. Because all deserve the same quality of life. There's one monster not more deserving than another monster. Okay, so here we've got some propaganda. Well, that's what this is. This is propaganda. Oh, elder abuse in any form is wrong. Is that right? That's really strange, because this woman, who is an elder and has been for, 2 years now, has been abused on every level. So we know that's a lie. Oh, okay, so let's talk about who's getting rich in Canada and why they're getting rich. Those courthouses are not courthouses, they're banks. And every BARF member doing their business inside that bank is guilty of vagrancy. Every single one of them. From the bencher to the, then there's another, there's 3 of them. And they all belong to the same association. They all belong to the same registry. It's not a lawful profession. Legal has nothing to do with law. A legal profession is not a lawful profession. And they get rich and they support themselves in whole by gaming and crime, because everything they're doing inside that building is committing crime against their neighbors whom they hate. So that's why they had to repeal vagrancy, because every single one of them is a vagrant, a viroid, a pathogen, poisonous. Each one of their souls is just it's a pus-filled boil. Like, I mean, what good is coming out of any of them? Oh, okay, so the Crown's a corporation? So commercial private for profit, British Columbia, right? That's what it calls itself. Business registry records British Columbia Corporation numbers doing business as. So that is a system of the dead. They only deal in dead because a corporation is dead. A corporation only exists on paper. And everything that they do is paperwork. It's one-dimensional. Has no life in it at all. And so British Columbia can't practice law, nor hire anyone at any time to carry on the business of practicing law for it. A judge is not the court. And yet how many times have I seen on this profane fucking paperwork, this court, that court, orders, commands. A judge, there are no judges, they're just administrative clerks, are officers of the court, as well as are all their buddies, their barf member buddies. A state judge is a state judicial officer paid by the state to act impartially and lawfully. They do neither. They do not act impartially, and they do not act lawfully. They act the opposite of impartially and lawfully. They don't follow any of this. So a judge is not the court. But here we've got it written that they're not. So then why do they refer to themselves constantly as the court? This court. Do they not fucking know any of the rules? A judge ceases to sit as a judicial officer because the governing principle of administrative law provides that courts are prohibited from substituting their evidence, testimony, record, arguments, and rationale for that of the agency. Additionally, courts are prohibited from substituting the judgment of that of the agency. Courts in administrative issues are prohibited from even listening to or hearing arguments, presentation, or rationale. So if one is not a person, then one cannot be a person, and they only deal in persons. The only legal person known to our law, and it's not law at all, it's legal bullshit, is the corporation. You see, you jump into the cesspool of sadism and sick, and it like fucking all unravels. It all unravels. It's got no foundation to it because it's all built on fucking Babylonian bullshit. Legal precedent, cited case law, unsupported hearsay. And here's a case cited right here. This case is cited as a Supreme Court decision stating that a motion to dismiss cannot be granted solely on an attorney's uncorroborated hearsay allegations. Such hearsay lacks evidentiary weight and cannot support a motion to dismiss. Statements of counsel. The case is also cited for the principle that statements of counsel in brief or in argument are not sufficient for summary judgment. A lawyer testimony is not good enough. The prosecutor doesn't have first-hand knowledge. the BARF members can't testify. The footing of truth is in jurisdictional structure, capacity, status, and the nature of parties in controversy. No jurisdiction without like-minded parties. Courts require joinder. Both parties must appear in the same capacity. Well, people, men and women, aren't appearing. We're attending. We're in attendance. A living man and a fictional corporate entity are not like kind because, how could it be? There's no meeting of the minds. The court cannot proceed without presumed consent or constructive contract because everything they do is assumption and presumption. That's how they rule, on assumption and presumption. And if you don't rebut all of that deception and all of that coercive control, they will railroad you. They'll railroad you anyway, even if you rebut all of it, because I've been rebutting all of their, SRA, satanic ritual abuse, since since September the 4th last year. So here's another case from 1956. U.S. versus Minker. The protection of the Bill of Rights is not lessened because the individual is not a corporation. Well, an individual, again, is a corporation. That's how they define them. Implied. Individuals and corporations are distinct parties, not automatically joined. Doctrine stack. Here's another case. Well, it was the same one before. So this one's from 1964. Statements of counsel are not evidence. Well, who gives a fuck about evidence? Where's the proof? This kills joinder by unauthorized representation. Corporations must appear by attorney. Men attend alive, walking, talking, breathing, speaking. No meeting of the minds. Here's another one, a Clearfield Trust Company versus U.S. from 1943. When the United States enters into commercial transactions, it abandons its sovereign capacity and is to be treated like any other corporation. Well, first of all, what fucking retard wrote that down? A corporation has a sovereign capacity? There's no way. How can a fiction be sovereign? Only a man or woman could be sovereign. And only a righteous man or woman could be sovereign, because a wicked monkey needs to be governed. A fucking malicious monster has to be governed. Just like an out-of-control fucking animal has to be governed. Right? Because they're unpredictable. That's why they keep them in a zoo. In a cage. So men and women can only be sued in commerce. If a man or woman is not operating there, there's no nexus. Everything that they're doing is commercial, a commercial transaction. None of it's judicial. None of it. Not even this fucking bullshit that they're calling the criminal justice system. That has nothing to fucking do with the judiciary. That's all a commercial transaction. It's all commerce. Combined deployable answer. A court cannot hear controversy between a man and a corporation unless the man voluntarily joins the commercial jurisdiction. Well, no man or woman in their right fucking mind would volunteer to join a commercial jurisdiction. Because those of us in our right mind, there's only two to worship, right? You gotta pick one. It's either the fucking money, which has no value, or it's the law, the living law, which is the government. There must be like-kind parties, a valid contract, and verified claims and evidence. Absent joinder or affidavit from a living claimant. The persons acting as the court have no subject matter jurisdiction. Now, how many times have you heard this woman say that? They do not have, they cannot gain subject matter nor personal jurisdiction because we are foreigners. We are foreign ambassadors and foreign diplomats. And just like all of these fucking sewer rats, all of these public serpents, they're all operating under a title. They believe that that title protects them. That's their belief. Let's see, you've got, what is this thing over here? Oh, it's a mayor, is it? Is that right? It's mayor blah blah. And then you've got chief fucking so-and-so. And then you've got fucking constable, fucking cursed creature. And then you've got fucking the slimy snake sergeant. And then you've got now there's an inspector. And that title goes before their surname or their name. So if they have that right, then our people have that right. So this woman then would have to be referred to as foreign diplomat. Okay, so this is just, so Victoria, City of Victoria, that's a corporation. Saanich, District of Saanich, that's a corporation. Canada is a corporation. Province of British Columbia is a corporation. Provincial Court of British Columbia is a corporation. And look how this woman is being referred to as you. Condition number 6, you must attend each court appearance unless this court excuses you. Well, who is this court? Because you administrative clerks are not the court. So how is that an absolute fucking fiction is going to excuse this foreign diplomat? How is something that doesn't even fucking exist in reality going to excuse this woman who you have absolutely no jurisdiction over? And these conditions are an abusive process. Once again, we have viroids running another fraud on the court. These are vexatious litigants. All of the savages over here acting as the District of Saanich, and all the savages over there of City of Victoria, and all the fucking savages who are representing the Crown, they are vexatious litigants. This is an abusive process. They are covering up fucking criminals, and let's take a look at all the fucking lies that are written down here. So this woman is not to possess weapons? Well, who the fuck are you to tell this woman what she can and can't do? We are not your subject. We are not your fucking slaves. We are not your property. And if you've got mindless fucking malicious monkeys out here with fucking weapons, then every single man and woman in Canada has to be armed. You want to fucking go to war with your neighbors? You fucking pigs, pukes, and you fucking dogs? Then all of your neighbors have to be armed as well. Because you have now this is martial fucking law. You have now waged fucking war on fucking innocent men and women. Because you're fucking thieves. You're pathological fucking liars. You're lunatics. You're fucking anti-Christ, anti-government fucking abominations. With no hope and no future. Oh, so this woman can't have any contact with the criminal in possession of her family's stolen land and the trespassers who are trespassing on her family's land. Because all this here in condition number 2 is nothing but fucking out and out lies spewed by vexatious litigants who are abusing their power and abusing a process that is never meant to go after the victim of the crime. It's meant to go after the fucking criminals, which is the fucking beast Benji here and these fucking trespassers using my family's home to commit crime. Mortgage fraud, fucking racketeering. Land title fraud. This woman is not to go to any place where the Benji the Beast is. Well, I don't have a fucking clue what that beast looks like, nor do I want to know what that beast looks like. It's a compulsive liar, a lunatic. Guilty of mischief causing danger to life. Guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. This woman can't go to her home. This is coercive control. This is abusive process. This woman can't go to her home to save her own life and to protect her family's property. And now they're trying to tell me where I can't go. I can't go to the area bounded by Patricia Bay Highway on the east, Interurban Road on the west. Well, we're sorry. We don't take fucking orders from fictions. We're sorry. Victoria is not only the trustee, but she's also the beneficial owner of the land and the home. And that's never going to change. So why would Victoria attend a room filled with rats? Why would Victoria subject herself to a room filled with fucking rats? Because that's exactly what you are. You're vagrants. You're all guilty of vagrancy. You're adversarial? Well, that's the opposite of peace. And foreign diplomats aren't subject to your jurisdiction or your administrative fucking processes because they're poisonous and they're pathetic. Just like you are. Because you get it, don't you? Everything they do is a lie. Everything they do from the word go is a lie. All of it. Well, Chief Justice, U.S. Supreme Court figures 90% are incompetent, dishonest, or a combination. Well, I mean, it's the same thing, right? If you're dishonest, you're incompetent. You obviously identify yourselves as sovereign citizens. Freak monsters on the land, are we? Are we? We have titles of nobility. That's a form of schizophrenia and retardation if you actually believe that. You need to stop and seek professional help. Because you're hypocrites. That's exactly what you are. So you portray yourselves as something that you're not, you've never been. You're persons who behave dishonestly in order to gain advantages. You spread untruths fucking everywhere you are. Well, that's your entire life, isn't it? Self-righteously moralistic, who behaves as if they're superior. Well, there you go, right? Conveniently changes opinions, typically for personal gain. Well, yeah. Contemptible or morally reprehensible. That's what you are. That's exactly what you are. Yep, lynching. That's what they're doing. So they have propaganda, and it's everywhere, and it's poisonous. Everything you read in these pamphlets and everything you read on the websites is all lies. All of it is lies. Because we've got years of recorded calls with fucking agency after agency, and they all do abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Worthless. The fucking merry-go-fucking-round of madness. It's fucking nothing but chaos and confusion. Oh, the Liar Society requires liars to practice legal, ethically, and competently. For example, a liar should. Oh, should they? Do you think so? Should they be honest and courteous? Keep clients informed? Respect client confidences? Not act in a conflict of interest? All fucking three of them. Share a business interest. All three. The administrative clerk and the other two fucking pieces of shit in that room, the other rats in that room, all share a business interest because they're all there to fucking rob their neighbors blind and get away with it. They're all fucking helping each other out. There'd be no fucking point in calling this Liar Society. They have been contacted repeatedly when my family and I are being destroyed, and they don't fucking care. Just like all the calls we made last week. You heard them. Hopefully you did. Oh, abuse of power. Oh, we've got legal cases cited, do we? There is no law in Canada. Abuse of power can refer to actions by public officials or institutions that exceed their authority, violate legal principles, or undermine the fairness of the legal system. Well, holy fuck. Should I rip apart that fucking sentence? Landmark cases illustrate the concept. Oh, it's a concept, all right. Oh, let's see here. We've got abuse motivated by personal animosity, constituted an abuse of power. Okay. Oh, here we've got a fiction. So Canada can't hire a fucking liar to practice law, and yet we've got some liar here identifying itself as an attorney general versus power. Supreme Court of Canada 26 clarified that governments, which doesn't even fucking exist, can be held liable for damages if they pass legislation later determined unconstitutional, especially if done in bad faith or with an abuse of power. Oh, let's see here. Proceedings can be oppressive, vexatious, and violate fundamental principles of justice. Well, what the fuck do you think a forced adoption is? What do you believe a fraudulent foreclosure is? What do you fucking think a malicious prosecution is? It's all of those things. It's all of them. Administrative. Well, it's all administrative. That's all they do. It's just fucking paperwork. The court is nothing but paperwork. Oh, cases like blah, blah, blah demonstrate how abuse of power can occur within the administrative context. A fucking public official is a fucking slave. It's a servant to the people. They have no power. They've been fucking brainwashed. They've flipped the script because they're fucking wicked, and the wicked are wired warped. Charter rights? Fuck your charter. You can shove your charter. You don't fucking follow it anyway. Abusive process. How court proceedings can be halted or dismissed if they're deemed an abusive process. Well, we just fucking went over and we just read that the fucking rats can't do that. They don't have the power to do that. They can't halt or dismiss anything. Oh, it can happen if the proceeding is oppressive, vexatious, or bring the administration of justice into disrepute. Well, the whole thing is fucking, it's disgusting. It's all disrepute. Administration of justice, they don't have a fucking clue what justice is. Nor do they care. Oh, the rule of law. Oh, this gets just better and better, doesn't it? Abuse of power undermines the rule of law. Well, the rule of law is the law of consent. Contract makes the law. We went over that. Oh, so apparently everyone, including those in positions of authority, are subject to and accountable. Oh, fuck no. Why this is, see what I mean about propaganda? This is all fucking lies. This proves, you see, their fucking actions prove why this means nothing. Words mean nothing because their actions are the opposite. Judicial independence. There is no fucking judiciary here. There's fucking BARF members who are acting as administrative clerks. And they talk behind the backs of the falsely accused. They've already decided what they're going to do to you before they even fucking open their mouths in there. Abuse of power can infringe on judicial independence. They're not fucking independent. Fair and impartial? No, no thanks. Again, they're talking about this fucking charter. Operate fairly and equitable. No, fuck off. Abuse of power is a serious legal issue. Well, legal is not reality. So right here, we can just pass this over as a bunch of fucking bullshit. What do you do if one of these savages is unfair? Oh, you're going to make a complaint? Well, that'll get you nowhere. Because the fucking pukes acting as that joke are there to protect their buddies. They're neither impartial or fair. Oh, so the administrative clerks committing acts of genocide against their neighbors are subject to public scrutiny and comment, are they? Is that right? Canadian Judicial Council? Really? Oh, can one of these war criminals be fired? Let's see if a war criminal can be fired. If there's serious misconduct. This coven can recommend to this other thing who can't practice law for Canada that one of these war criminals can be removed. Yeah, right. How often does that happen? Never. Well, I would know, right? My family and I would know all about this fucking coven, this cabal of fucking war criminals committing genocide. They all fucking retire millionaires. Every single fucking one of them retires fucking millionaires. Forced adoption. Then they come for everything else. Well, this woman here has been falsely accused. Right? The hypocrites. The vexatious litigants are accusing this woman of what they are guilty of because that's the way of the witch. It's an individual who repeatedly initiates legal actions without reasonable basis, whose actions are deemed an abuse of the court's process. These ingrades file multiple motions or other legal actions for improper purposes, such as to annoy, to harass, to financially burden their neighbors. Repetitive filings, lack of merit, improper purpose, abuse of process, ignoring court orders. That happened to my family during the forced adoption. Here they are here. Here's 2 of the 3. A coven. Guilty of war crimes against my family, against my son. Yeah. let you read that. I'm not going to read that out loud. Well, it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. And as we already read, not one of the three of them, of the cabal, is permitted to even give evidence. They have no first-hand knowledge of what's going on. So obviously, you're losing your mind. You are. Like, if you have not gone through this forced adoption, you have no way to even come close to understanding what that is and what it does. And you are literally fucking spinning, trying to go everywhere, trying to find somebody, anybody, to fucking care about what's happening as you watch your offspring, your beloved branch, be fucking torn apart by abuse of every and all kinds. So we went and we sat with this morbidly obese, burnt here. And you should have fucking seen this thing. I wish I had recorded it. I mean, it was... Well, that's why this was the letter after it all went down. They were hostile and aggressive to a shocking degree. The lawyer continually getting up, threatening to call the police while I stumbled with my hearing aid. It was really quite a sight. She certainly wasn't about to hear a word I said or had to say, as they seemed to have already made up their minds. Right away, I was being threatened constantly and harassed and menaced that he was never coming home. And there was nothing going on in my home at all. So I'm gonna put this link in the upload description box. You go right ahead and open it up and take a read. Every single link that I use, or every platform that I use to create a link, it has a counter on it. So every time the link is opened, the counter goes up, so I can just see if I'm being heard, if I'm being listened to. Yeah, no, it's something else to go through a war crime like that. It's legally defined as genocide for a reason, and in the living law, it's capital punishment crime. Yeah, you don't get to continue on. You're finished. You're taken out like the trash, because that's what you are. You're trash. So this is just some of what it looks like. Okay, so remember before we went over vexatious litigations, and they're constantly fucking filing motions, and they're constantly just anything and everything. Well, this is just some of what occurred between March and December 2010. And then there was a whole bunch of more shit just like this that went on until he was trafficked in 2012. And I don't have those documents because they're trying to hide their guilt of war crimes against my family. But and between all of this going on, my son and I are both being ritually abused and mocked and humiliated by the coven. And they're liars. And these administrative clerks posing as judges. So there's names in here. Again, I'll leave the link in the description box. You can see how many of these degenerates acting as family court are involved in all of this and all the lies that are told. Obviously, my notes are here in the yellow highlight. Oh, is that right? Is there an alarming increase in house thefts? You don't say. Fuck, no kidding. Because here's my family's home that was stolen from us. So the vagrants could then steal all the money. That was our home from January 2003. And it's still our home. Our home hasn't changed ownership because it was fucking captured by pirates and robbers. Oh, here we've got some more vexatious litigants. So this Fulton and Company is a criminal organization, and this fucking Daniel Carroll here is a vexatious litigant. Yeah, it's made up lies because it doesn't have a legitimate lawful profession. And so the demon was seeking to steal from my family and I $40,000 it wasn't owed, and that's why this document here, this fucking shakedown, says that all payments must be made to Fulton and Company, because that's how this coven generates revenue for all of its criminal fucking employees, criminally minded employees. I mean, you can fucking tell immediately within the first paragraph that this fucking puke is a compulsive liar. Nothing that it is saying is making sense. And of course, I go through all the paperwork, all of it. This fucking $40,000 doesn't exist until my spouse and I use our purchasing power to create that $40,000. This criminal coven, CIBC, has that insured. And then the demon here is coming after this woman and her family. Double fisting, right? Because it's going to pocket the money. It's not going to CIBC. It's going to the frauds of Fulton. The Fulton frauds. Right here, vexatious litigation. Vexatious litigants, that's who they are. And a fictitious petitioner, which is CIBC, it can't register a certificate and it can't register a title. That's a lie. That's an out and out fucking lie. Well, CIBC can't fucking hire demons to practice law for it. We already went over that. So this is the War Crimes Act. In the red box. In the red box, this is the War Crimes Act. So what did they do? If they're hurting this woman, they're hurting Jack. If they're hurting this woman, they're hurting AJ. If they're hurting AJ, they're hurting Jack and I. If they're hurting Jack, they're hurting AJ and I. Like, you understand? Like, that's what a family is. You're connected to each other, just like you're connected to your property. It's an extension of who you are. Well, I'm the woman who's gone through it, so I would be the only woman with first-hand knowledge. I'm the only woman who can provide proof of claim. We don't fucking complain. We have claims. So we've got conspiracy happening here between vexatious litigants. The monster here, mayor. The monster mayor. You've got the crooked chief over here. They're retaliating. And retaliation is discrimination. It's like racism. There's a conspiracy going on. And then there's been 6 others including themselves, right? Impersonating the crown and impersonating the court, which has caused, like, seriously irreparable harm. Like, it's irreparable. There can never be enough fucking money, which doesn't have any value anyway, to fix what they've done, ever. So these are vexatious litigants. These are criminal organizations, and they are fronted. The face of these criminal organizations are pathological liars. Discreditable conduct by policy enforcement. Negatively impact the reputation. Well, what reputation could it possibly have? They're fucking war criminals. Like, undermine public trust. You know not to trust a pig, right? You know that. You understand that, don't you? You never trust a pig. Ever. Ever. A wide range of behaviors, both off and on duty. Oh, that are deemed prejudicial to discipline. What kind of discipline are we talking here? Oh, breach of trust, is that a problem? Misuse of authority, abuse of power, actions that violate the public's trust. Well, they only got to see one of the three SWAT team assaults. You only got to see one of the three. But the other two were, well, just as bad or worse than the first one. Unprofessional conduct, well, fuck you. Hey. That's why we record them. The fucking toxic trolls that they are. Actions that are considered inappropriate. Well, every fucking contact that this woman has with these pigs is inappropriate. It's unethical and it's unprofessional. It's uncivilized. You're uncivilized. You're fucking savages. You're criminals. You got years of criminal harassment. Years of uttering threats, years of aiding and abetting, years of conspiracy, years of publicly inciting hatred, willfully promoting and publicly inciting hatred against this woman. You've got mischief causing danger to life. You're guilty of war crimes. Using excessive force. Physical altercation. Well, you fucking touch me. If you move me from one location to another without my consent, that's kidnapping. And you've got unlawful confinement as well. You've got torture as well. Those are all criminal code offenses. And the code fucking does apply to you. You're fucking slaves. Intentional torture requires the wrongdoer knew or have ought to have known that their actions are going to cause injury and damage. Intentional tortures consist of deliberate actions. Acts of omission is also this. It's the same thing. Omission is torture if the wrongdoer has a specific duty to act and fails to do so, resulting in damages to their target. So if one of these poisonous parasites has a legal duty to protect someone, and they fail to do that, then they're liable for intentional torture. There's fucking dozens of them involved in this. Because they have to protect the vagrants. Because they're all fucking hoove and hoove. Right? They're all of one mind. The fucking malicious monkey mind. And now there's no... Everything else has been stolen. By Donna Fraser from West Surrey-Ulock. Supreme Court decision, let's see here. For a crime to exist, there's got to be an injured party. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of an exercise of a constitutional right. Well, how about we just stick to the common law, which is to protect life and property. Let's just stick to the truth. Protect life and property. That's it. They won't do that. So here's the other deal. You got to stop fucking aiding and abetting these vagrants. You need to handle your affairs yourself. The quickest way to kill something is to stop feeding it. So if you stop feeding into this beast system, they're going to have to go out and get fucking real jobs. Unfortunately, they don't have any transferable skills because they're all pathological liars. The practice of law is an occupation of common right. That's from 1925. The practice of law cannot be licensed by any state. Litigants, don't ever let them reduce you to one of these fucked up titles like litigant. Just stand as a man or a woman. Or the trespassed upon, the victim. So litigants can be assisted by unlicensed laymen during judicial proceedings. Members of the group who are competent non-lawyers can assist other members of the group achieve the goals of the group in court without being charged with unauthorized practice of law. That was from 1969. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of their exercise of constitutional rights. Well, we'll just say common law rights. That's from 1973. Well, that was a good year. The common law is to cause no harm, loss, or injury to another or their property. No threat of harm, loss, or injury, and be honorable in all your dealings. That's the last thing that these fucks are, is honorable. None of them have honor, not one of them. I don't care if it's the fucking prime minister, if it's the fucking premier, if it's an MLA, if it's an MP, if it's a fucking mayor, if it's a chief, if it's a fucking sergeant, if it's a constable, if it's an inspector. None of them have honor. None of them. A contract. 8 elements to a contract. We've gone over them. Well, don't let the liars confuse you, because there was a male on June the 12th who tried to convince this woman who knows their little fucking satanic savage system inside and outside, upside down and fucking backwards, that she wasn't being offered a contract. Everything other than the common law is a contract. All of it is contract. So they only deal in corporations. They've turned you into a corporate fiction so they can deal with you and destroy your life and your quality of life and railroad you. So you're the agent. Wait a second. Let me think about that for 1 second. Well, you protect that straw man, right? You protect your property. That corporation is your property. You're not a legal fiction, aka person. You act on behalf to protect that legal fiction. And so it's your choice as to what contracts you enter into. You choose. You don't let somebody else choose for you. Right? Because they're just presuming and assuming. So, conditional acceptance? I will accept the terms of your offer if you can show a contract. You can prove that I am not a foreign diplomat. Can you prove that? Can you prove that we're not living men and women? How many times did we hear on that first assault this woman say, "No contract, don't need your services, thanks, let me go"? Because I say no, and I don't want to contract with you, and I don't consent to what you're doing, and you then go commit those crimes, you're the ones, you're going to lose your jobs. We're going to take your jackets from you. Every court proceeding in the ens legis juridical creature of statute legal person name is in fact a criminal offense of personage and barratry and champerty by crown corporations. So if you put a monkey in the middle, you are aiding and abetting personage. Criminal, ministerial, administrative tribunals masquerading as de jure judicial courts of law, foreign British war vessels. They're waging war on you in there. Dry dock warships, piracy and privateering, robbery ashore. RICO, every single one of them is RICO. Every single location is RICO. The legislature is RICO. Every political party is RICO. Every city, township, district. RICO. It's necrophilia, trafficking persons, intercourse with the dead. You're civilly dead in the eyes of the legal lunatics. Black mourning robed. Well, it's a magi, it's a witch. Necromancers, right? All rise from the dead to be the living witness. All rise back to the dead. Dead legal personhood. Walking dead in the now time. So the corporate statutes apply to the... Well, they're supposed to be public servants, but they're not. It's a crime. It's a crime to impersonate the living and the dead. It's a crime, according to their own rules. And the inclusion of one is the exclusion of all others. So the Attorney General for British Columbia, Superior Court ruling includes, means only. Well, a few of the endless lawful reasons for noncompliance. It's on their paperwork. It's on their fucking paperwork. You are warned that unless you have lawful excuses, here they are. We've been going over them now for a fucking year. While you fucking savages continue to cause irreparable harm. There is no fucking contract. It says right here, void. It's voided out before you even started. There's no contract. There's no service required. This woman is not going to aid and abet you vexatious litigants in your fucking abuse of power. In your fucking police misconduct. Discreditable conduct. You're fucking disgusting. Well, here's a law maxim for you. An act done by me against my will is not my act. So here's what they're doing, in case you don't know this SRA. So it includes cover-ups and sadism, and there's the monkeys have methods, and they've got cover stories. They use illusion, and it will harm you in every aspect of your being. So at this point now, this woman, I have cortisol poisoning to the point where it's seriously affecting my health on every aspect of my health. So most definitely, my right hip now is completely, it's basically shattered. All the tendons have been eaten. The tendons are eaten like they're eaten away. That's where the cortisol, it would go. It would go to the weakest point in my body. Because every fucking time I am fucking violently assaulted and tortured by these fucking war criminals, by these domestic terrorists, I'm being poisoned to death by them. They're poison in every interaction. and every day that I am kept off my family's property. So you should take a look at this, because this is exactly what they're doing, and this is exactly the function of this beast who is impersonating a government. It's not the government. They're a fucking anti-government. These are sovereign citizens. That they're the anti-government movement. They're vexatious litigants. Oh, look, the Liar Society has got some rules here. Funny they don't follow any of them. Let's take a look what this says here. Reporting participation in criminal activity related to a liar's practice. So you've got a duty to report participation in criminal activity related to a liar's practice? Oh, they've got codes. They've got rules, codes. So if you're involved in criminal activity, then you have a duty to withdraw, which is what we've been trying to explain for a year. Because righteous men and women, we handle our own affairs. Well, because my family's home is being utilized for crimes by criminals. And How Fam Holdings is a criminal organization. So now they're aiding and abetting criminal activity. By Benji and Sandy. Did I miss one? Oh, don't tell me I did. Withdrawing of charges is so simple. I think I did. There was another one of these. While liars are always at liberty to make a good faith complaint about another liar, there's some situations in which a liar has a duty to report another liar or themselves, including the discovery of criminal activity related to a liar practice. So all of these liars that have been involved in my family's life have a duty to report themselves for war crimes, to commit genocide, and to willfully promote and publicly incite hatred against my family. But they're not going to do that. Withdrawing the charges. Well, withdrawing, it's canceled completely. Like, you have to, because you're sick in the head. You're narcissists. Theft. Well, this is the government, this is the law, and this is what it has to say about theft. The eighth commandment forbids any kind of theft. The most offensive kind of theft is kidnapping and selling a man or woman into slavery. Well, that's what they did to AJ when they kidnapped him. And now they've done it to this woman in the last 10 months 3 times for the same reason. So in divine justice, the thief makes the victim whole by fully reimbursing the victim back in excess of the value of the stolen items. The purpose of the extra penalty is to compensate the victim for the loss of use of the items. Under the living law, the real law of the government, a thief cannot simply apologize and expect to set things right. A thief's debt, however, it would not be passed on to their family if they died in the theft. Oh, the fucker's lost its life for being a thief. What a shame. Well, we're glad that trash got taken out. Well, there's no jails in real law. Like in real living law, there's no jail. If the thief could not fully restore their victim, the thief would be sold as an indentured servant to pay off the thief's debts. He shall surely make restitution. If he owns nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. But they couldn't, not more than 6 years, a slave, no matter how large the theft. The principle of restitution remains unchanged. If you steal, you have to restore. You see, forgiveness requires action. So in order to be forgiven for the crime, not only did the criminal have to admit to what they did, but then they had to make their victim whole. Then and only then is forgiveness granted, and not before. And the standard for justice is laid out in the living law.